Kenta yun ako na para ko mo.
Jonas.
Atalas ko Jonas.
Hello? Okay. You said the microphone is working. Thank you, Madam President, for the very kind introduction and for the warm welcome from everyone. You may have your seat. I forgot. I'm sorry. It's okay. Thanks. If I cannot last that long, then I'll ask for a table. The last time I spoke before a public audience was about 5 or 6 years ago in a training seminar held about 2 days before the pandemic struck. And so for this occasion, I had to practice. And in doing so, I drew inspiration from that splendid speech which our university president gave in South Korea some time ago during an international conference on peace and education, where she spoke as a representative of our country. I hope that I will be able to do here today as well as you did in that event, Madam President. For those of you who may not know me, my name is Eduardo F. Sanson, and I have worked in the Western Mindanao State University for more than 40 years. 22 years of which I have served as the Dean of the College of Law. Now, in the College of Law, I was deemed by many as the best and most beloved professor. I suppose this is because of my firm belief that learning must be fun. In my class, everyone remembers the jokes, nothing about lessons. But enough about me. To the honorable members of the Board of Regents who are here today, to our beloved University President, Dr. Maria Carla A. Toreno, to the Vice President for Academic Affairs, my very good friend, Dr. Nursia and Marisa, to the Vice President for Administration and Finance, Dr. Joselito Madroña, to the Vice President for Research, Dr. Joel Fernando, to the Vice President for Student Affairs, Dr. Frederico Sanoa, who is a forester like me, to the Vice President for Resource Generation, Dr. Teresita Narvaez. I did not see her. She's okay. To the Deans of the respective colleges, to the Dean of the College of Law, Dean Irma Marie Medalle, to the members of the faculty, to the candidates for graduation for the doctoral, master, and Juris Doctor degrees, to the families and friends who are here today, to my wife, who absented herself from class just to be sure that I am able. I have a good driver for coming to school today. Ladies and gentlemen, friends, good afternoon. First, I would like to say thank you to our beloved University President, her Vice Presidents, and to one and all for having me as guest speaker in this joyous and momentous occasion. The joys that graduation bring, with the sight of everyone marching to the tune of Pomp and Circumstance, the title of the song that we have heard, and the presence of families and loved ones of the graduates, all beaming with pride, are among the things that I eagerly awaited every year during my entire time in the university, and is among the reasons why I did not leave this school for more lucrative positions elsewhere. It is thus that I have great joy that I am back in the campus after quite a while. I told the President I am home. Secondly, I would like to congratulate the candidates for graduation for their success in their field of study, for which they will be imposed with academic rules today.
colorful hoods are reserved only for those individuals who have attained academic achievements beyond the bachelor's degree. Historically, with the TOGA be released, the role of responsibility which we are all wearing, the academic hood is a special part of the academic regalia that began to be used in the 12th century by the universities at the time, and it denotes high scholarly and professional achievement. To be sure, to reach this height in the academic ladder is not easy, nor, as they say, a walk in the park. Graduate studies and the study of the law all require the students to surmount a gauntlet of challenges that are not for the faint-hearted. Graduate school and the law school are among the exceptional places where the saying, when the going gets tough, the tough gets going, finds its true meaning. For the law students, there were the endless nights of reading of volumes of books, the cases to be digested, the memorization of legal provisions, the class recitations, during which one can be humiliated, and there were the long midterm and final examinations every semester. For those in the graduate school, there were the reports to be made and the questions from the professors and from the class to be answered, the learning of new concepts, terms, theories, and ideas, the tedious formulation and defense of the thesis or dissertation title. Then there is the writing of the review of literature, for which one has to drag oneself out from bed every morning to keep on writing, revising, and editing. Then there is the gathering of data and its careful analysis. Ultimately, after passing the comprehensive examinations, there is the final oral defense before a panel of experts in the field of study for which one has to prepare for one more battle before the war is finally won. And all of these have to be done and endured while juggling and balancing with work, family, and other responsibilities. Indeed, I know it is not easy to reach this far. For my Juris Doctor degree, for example, which I earned in 1990, almost 100 of us started, 20 graduated, and only 30 became lawyers. For my degree in Master of Laws, which I earned in the Pontifical University in Santo Tomas, 35 of us started, 10 took the comprehensive examinations, and only 3 were allowed to graduate and move forward. In the UST, the entire graduate school holds a colloquium every year, and the faculty and the graduate students gather as a body, and the candidates are made to present publicly an abstract of their thesis or dissertation. When my turn came, I gave an abstract of my thesis, which was entitled An Analysis of the Effectiveness of the Barangay Conciliation Law in Zamboanga City. It involved data gathered from 10 barangays out of the 98 in the city. A professor in statistics in the audience asked me, why did you include only 10 barangays? And I answered, it is because the book says, using the stratified sampling method, 10% is enough representative sample for the population. But he said that the 10% sample is applicable only if the population is 100 or more. And since there are only 98 barangays, I have to include everything. So I had to come back and get data from 88 more barangays. You see, that's not easy thing to do. It is therefore but fitting that all the candidates here today are to be congratulated for arriving at this moment of achievement. Let us all give them a round of applause. But even as we rejoice at the success of the graduates, team, let us not forget to give thanks to those who helped them along the way. We should give thanks to the university administration led by our indefatigable President, Dr. Maria Carla Ochotorena, and her staff for providing the courses of study. And let us give thanks to the deans who provided guidance along the way. We should say thank you to the faculty who shared their knowledge selflessly. We should say thank you to the advisors whose help lightened the burden of learning. And we should be grateful and say thank you to the family and loved ones who not only supported the candidates but prayed for their success. Above all, let us give thanks and praise to God the Almighty, for apart from Him, we cannot achieve anything worthwhile. I remember when I passed the bar exams, I bought a newspaper containing the examination results with the little money that I had at the time. Then, after visiting a church, I went home to Basilan. When I told my father that I passed, he asked that my name in the paper be encircled with a pen so that he can see it, because he did not know how to read. When I told my mother that I passed, she began to cry. I protested, and I said that I am not a good son to you because I have put tears in your eyes. And she said, no, I'm not crying because you are not a good son. I am crying because I prayed for you and all my prayers were answered. All the while I thought that I passed the bar because I studied very well. I also remember a Bimsu law student who, when he went to take the bar exam, promised that he would dedicate his success to Allah. But when he passed the bar, he forgot the promise he made and then began to believe that he passed because of his own abilities. Then he went to the Supreme Court to get the examination results. There he learned that the passing grade in that year, due to the difficulty of the exam and the very low passing grade, was lowered to 73 instead of the usual 75. And his grade was 74. It was then he said to me that he remembered the promise he made to his God. And all he could say after knowing the result was, MashaAllah, MashaAllah, Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah. And so, for all the candidates of graduation, let us please give a round of applause to all those who helped you along the way toward success. And finally, do not wish to make this long. And finally, a word of advice. Please do not let the degrees you have earned today to get into your heads. If you do, you may begin to feel self-important, blinded to the needs of many, and the letters you attach before or after your names will remain just that, letters which are meaningless to others. Instead, put and keep and cherish in your hearts the degrees and the knowledge you have earned, and use it to help those who are in need. For to borrow a line from the book The Little Prince by Antoine de Exupéry, it is only through the heart that we can see correctly. What is essential is invisible to the eyes. If I may repeat, it is only through our eyes that we can see correctly. What is essential is invisible to the eyes. In our hearts, the knowledge that we have allows us to look at others with kindness, compassion, empathy, and love. That will inspire us to help those who are in need and make the world a better place, one case or one person at a time. In your hearts, the letter written before or after your names, signifying the academic degrees that you have, become blessings and answered prayers for others. The story is told of a man's 400-meter race in a track and field event. Thank you for the assistance. The best runners were in the race for one final sprint for the goal. When the starter pistol was fired, the runner sprinted and the race was on. One runner seemed to be the fastest. He took an early lead and maintained it, with another runner following closely behind. About 20 meters to the finish line, the leading runner broke his hamstring and fell. The second man passed the one who has fallen, but stopped and turned around when he realized what has happened. The third man in the lead then finished first for the gold, followed by another a second for the silver, and a third for the bronze, all to the applause of the crowd. Meanwhile, and I want you to picture this, meanwhile, the man who turned back picked up the one who has fallen, put his arms around his shoulders, and together with the injured man limping, the two struggled to cover the remaining distance. And as they crossed the finish line, the audience cheered and gave the two a long and rousing standing applause. On that day, the ones who finished first, second, and third were winners. But the injured man who never gave up and the runner who turned back to help another in need were the heroes of the race. In sports as in life, you see, winners are eventually forgotten, medals fade and gather dust, but heroes are celebrated, emulated, and forever remembered. With the academic degrees that you have earned, you are imbued with some kind of superpowers, and superpowers are meant to be shared. To paraphrase some lines in the song, I Can Be My Own Superhero, the moving up song of my grandson who just finished kindergarten, when the day needs saving, it can start with me. I can move and I can help others to rise, and I can choose and try to be a superhero to help others in need. After all, we can never tell how high we have risen until we humbly stoop down to reach and help those who are below us. Likewise, we can never tell how far ahead we are from the ordinary crowd until we find the courage to look back and turn around to help those who are lagging behind finish their races in life. And it is when we take the time to stoop down and to turn back to help those who are in need that we become not only heroes, not only winners, but the heroes of the day. Again, congratulations to all of you for your achievement. May it be that the academic hoods you are invested here with today be the hoods of superheroes in the service of others, in the same way that the academic hoods of the university president, the vice president, the deans, the administrative staff, the faculty have been the hoods of superheroes who have helped you achieve this success. At this point, I would like to take the personal privilege of congratulating one of the graduates, candidates for graduation for Juris Doctor, Ms. Angeline Crisette Conti Olivario, the daughter of engineer Dr. Celito Conti Olivario, and the granddaughter of Professor Norma Camins Conti, two of the finest employees this university has ever seen. Crisette, I know that your mom is proud and is watching over you in heaven. And I also know that your grandmother has prayed for your success. Congratulations. And to all the graduates for candidates for graduation for doctoral, Juris Doctor, Now that you are done with the College of Law, I say that the easier part is over. The more difficult one is before you, the bar examinations. But do not be afraid. Throughout the years, the College of Law of Windsor have produced hundreds of lawyers. Last year, we have one who topped the bar. We have made it to the bar exams. There is no reason why you cannot. Thank you very much. God bless us all and our alma mater, the Western Mindanao State University, the beacon light of Emilio Fall. Muchas gracias y muy buenas tardes. Assalamualaikum.
And to express our gratitude to our guest of honor and speaker, we would like to present this plaque of appreciation. This plaque is presented to Attorney Eduardo F. Sanson, former WIMSU Vice President for Resource Generation and former Dean of the WIMSU College of Law, in grateful appreciation of his steadfast support and invaluable contribution as guest of honor and speaker during the Western Mindanao State University cooling ceremony. Given this day at Western Mindanao State University, signed by our University President, Dr. Maria Carla A.